So we're on with project 4x4 Sierra RS Cosworth, looking at the block, the 200 block. So we're here with Andy today, and we're going to start looking at possibly welding the block and looking at putting a long stud kit in, which when you search the internet you can see some videos of some experts kind of quickly slotting some long studs in, but we're actually going to show you how it's done, real weld. I bought this car and there's a small crack on the block, so what we're going to do is we're going to weld it and then we're going to long stud it, and I'm going to pass you over to Andy now, who's the engineer and the expert who's going to show us how it's done.
Alright, well John brought this, John asked me to go around and slip a cam belt on this for him, and when I went to do that we noticed that the core plug had popped out the back of the block. So the car had been stood for quite a considerable amount of time, and basically it's frozen, unfortunately, because probably back in 2005 it wasn't that valuable, so no one bothered about putting antifreeze in it. Anyway, it popped the core plug, so I said to him, look, you know, a few oil leaks on the front, let's do it properly. You take the turbo manifold off, I'll organise the front seals, and we'll go from there. So he rang me and said that all the bolts were snapping when he was undoing the exhaust manifold. So basically I said, just whiz the head off it, there's only 10 more bolts and you're there. So he pulled the head off it, and this is what we came across. So unfortunately we see the blocks cracked on this side where the frost has pushed it, and also we just found some other hairline cracks over here. So we're going to go right through this on the video from start to finish. We don't know how many videos it's going to take, but basically what we're going to do is we're going to grind it all out, weld it up with some cast rods, and then we're going to set it up on the miller. And the people that know all about these engines, unlike us, basically did something called a long stud kit. So this is a long stud kit for him, and from what I understand, basically you drill through the original head bolt threads and you tap it down at the bottom near the mains, so all the stresses are pulled from the bottom of the block. It's typical of anything that's turbocharged, and you want really good clamping force on the head gasket. So we pull from down there, it takes all the stresses out of the surface here. So you sometimes maybe get a bit of a scissoring effect, you know, when you really clamp something down. So because it's pulling from down here, which is in the main bearing area, which, excuse the state of the block, it's been parts in the workshop near a leak in the roof. But anyway, there's loads of meat here, so it'll be really good and strong for it to pull from there. So that's that. Now, have you got any questions, John, about anything?
Yeah, it was just trying to find a solution to the problem, wasn't it? Because you start looking on the internet and you think, oh, is it a 205 block? Is it 200? So it's a 4x4 one, and you've obviously got the diff at the bottom of the engine that passes through the sump there, and you've got a bit more meat on it, so it is possible. So you start looking at, you know, some of the established, you know, your Graham Goods and your Burtons and so on, and they say if you want a WRC power.
I'm not familiar with these at all, John, but
you know, you can put the long stud kit in, can't you? So that's the route we're going down. Other people say, oh, you can stitch it and all the rest of it, but that's not going to answer the problem. You're still going to have to then helicoil or thread, put the normal. Yeah. Whereas this actually, from what we gather, it kind of sandwiches it together and it takes the strain out of the.
That's it. By welding this, we're just creating, so when we skim it, it'll have a nice flat surface for the gasket. The stresses are going to be down here now. So that's the good thing about fixing it.
Yeah.
Going back to what you just said about it being a 200 block, obviously, if these were cheap and plentiful, we'd just, like the 205 block, we'd just replace it. But
we're talking like post-lockdown 2021 now, aren't we? Whereas a replacement block like this, something even cracked, is £1,500 to £2,000 on eBay now, isn't it? So it's not like they're knocking about. And then obviously it's the numbers matching car. It's worth doing it. So to keep the integrity of the car, it's worth doing it right. We're going to be running standard power, but obviously putting the long stud kit in, it just eliminates any potential issues.
You might want to
tweak it up,
sip at some point. But going back to the block, I mean, Ford really did make a good effort with this this Pinto engine. Basically, you know, the effort they went to in the last generation 4x4 Sierras. I mean, the block is far superior. I don't know if you can see with your camera, but the line